Hi friends, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel today. If you're new here, I am Amarachi Johnson, and on this channel I talk about career growth and personal branding. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for sticking with me. Please watch this video to the end and let me know what you think about it, what stood out for you. Have you ever wondered why it seems like in the tech industry, there are just a few people who seem to be getting all the opportunities, doing amazing things, speaking at events, while others just blend in? In today's age, your skills are no longer just enough. Your skills are important, no doubt, but your personal branding will make you stand out. Even if you're the best in your field, the best at what you do, if people don't know about it, then of what good is it for you? Personal branding is how you're able to communicate your value to people who are either just meeting you for the first time or people who have always known you but do not have any idea what you stand for. And the good thing about personal branding is that that is what makes people remember you when they are in certain rooms or when there are certain opportunities. I've had situations where people reach out to me to speak at events for opportunities or awards. It's not because they are in my brain to know what I know. It's because it's how I've positioned myself, and now they are able to associate those titles with me when they think about it. That is what personal branding does for you. When people think of opportunities, they think of speaking engagements, they think of people who have thought leadership around a particular topic. How are they able to put you into that picture and remember you for the things that you want to stand for? I know that a lot of people struggle with this. A lot of people find it very difficult to, whenever they hear the topic of personal branding, it just seems like something super complicated. In this video, my aim is to break it down in the simplest way possible so that you can start building your personal brand right away. We are going to be using a formula that I like to call the 5W and 1H formula. And we are going to break this down one by one, and you're going to get all of it. Just stay with me. The first W there is who. Who are you? There is really no personal branding without you self-reflecting and understanding who you are. People call it self-awareness. Knowing your strengths and your weaknesses is the first step to building your personal brand. You have to understand, what is it that drives you? Do you love to inspire people? Do you love to mentor people? What are your personalities? What are your values? What is your character? Because the truth is that your personal brand is only a reflection of who you are. You're not going to be someone different in real life and build a personal brand around something else. That will make you fake. And over here, we don't advocate for fake personal branding. Personal branding is simply a way for you to communicate who you are to the people who are meeting you, whether on social media or somewhere, maybe at an event, okay? So you have to think about your personality. Are you someone who likes excellence, integrity, service? What are your values? What is your character? Because at the end of the day, who you are will always reflect in your personal brand. A few days ago, I was reading a chapter of the book Surrounded by Idiots, and I was looking at the 4 personality types that he discussed: the green, the red, the blue, the yellow. It was just very surprising how I could list 10 people and I was able to group them into each of those personality types. These are people I only interacted with on social media. I haven't lived with them. I do not know them that personally, but just based on the brand that they have built, I was able to put them into different brackets. That is what personal branding does for you, and that's why you have to think about who you are, because who you are will entail the kind of brand you eventually build. The next thing that you have to think about is why. Why are you building a personal brand? This could be for a lot of reasons. It doesn't have to be for just one reason. You could be building a brand because you want to build thought leadership in order to get opportunities. You could be building a brand because you want to shine more light on the work you're doing, maybe for a future job, or you want to build a brand in order to be able to position, to network and connect with people within your industry or a certain personality of people. There are just a lot of reasons to build a personal brand, but the reason it's important for you to have a why is that at some point the going gets tough. You might go through periods where you're rethinking, oh, the brand I'm building, is it really reflecting who I am? You could even be confused, maybe because you want to pivot into a different industry and all of that. But when your why is clear, at least it helps you through every evolution of your brand, because the truth is your brand will always evolve because you're a human being. You'll probably never be the same thing for the rest of your life. But when you have a why, it's kind of constant, right? It's always there. So whether you're building a personal brand as a professional, or you're building a personal brand as a content creator, or you're building a personal brand around your family or whatever, the why will always remain the same. Your why is also important because it is what fuels your consistency. If you don't have a why, if there is no reason for you to show up and build your personal brand, those days where you feel unmotivated, on those days where you don't feel like doing that thing you said you would do. Like before I picked up my phone to record this YouTube video, I was already feeling tired. I was feeling like, oh, who really sent me message? But then I remembered why. My why of creating this YouTube channel is to teach people, to inspire, to mentor other people who are coming up, whether in their career or in their motherhood journey or in the journey of building their personal brand. And that is exactly why, even though I didn't feel like it, I am still showing up because I have a why. So find a why that drives you. Find a reason for building your personal brand. So the third W is what. What do you have to offer? Remember, we talked about who you are. Number two W is why. Now we're asking, what do you have to offer? Remember that before you start building a personal brand, you should have skills already. You should have something that is valuable, that you want to give to people. So you have to have value. You have to have some skills. So you now have to ask yourself, what skill do you have? What value do you have to give? Having a clear offer helps to even guide people on what exactly to reach out to you for. It's what shapes what you're known for. What to offer can be a lot confusing for a couple of people, especially people who have a lot of potentials, people who want to do arts and they want to do tech, they want to do medicine. They're just like a lot of passion. But my advice would always be to read the room. To read the room. There are platforms that encourage being that multi-potentialite. I think Instagram does that a lot. But even on Instagram, it's important to have just to start with one. Have one overarching topic, one overarching skill or value that you give, and then let every other topic be secondary to that primary topic. Guys, my lights died, so let's continue. So let's say you're a tech person, right? And you want to build a brand as a travel content creator. You also like to write. There's just a lot of things that you want to do. Now, a platform like LinkedIn does not really encourage being that multi-potentialite because it's a professional platform. So you're a tech person, you have to focus tech are on LinkedIn, like talk about tech on LinkedIn. Maybe once in a while, you can mention something around your love for travel because at the end of the day, personality shines through, right? And makes you even more authentic because you're shining through as the person that you are and not just like a professional person all the time. But then having that one thing that you are good at or that you share to people that you're good at, even though you have a lot of other things that you're good at, will make them always remember you. We are going to delve into platforms in a moment, but let's quickly go into the next W, which is who your audience are. Let me just reiterate a little bit. The first W, we talked about who you are. The second is why you're building a personal brand. The third is what you offer. And now we are talking about who your audience are. And if you take the time to ask yourself the questions that we've been talking about, you would notice that knowing who your audience are would be a little bit easier because, I mean, you already know your purpose and you know what you want to give. So it's just to think about who is the persona that can receive what you have to give. Let's say your why is to build a community because you want to launch a course for a certain persona or a certain audience in the future and want to build a community to warm them up for your course launch sometime in the future. Now, because you already know what you want to offer through that course and you also know why you want to build that personal brand, that community, now it's easier for you to know who to target, which is now who your audience are. I hope this one is very, very easy to determine most of the time. The fifth W and the last W basically is where. Where are these your audience? This is where I mentioned we're going to talk about platforms a little bit more. You already know the main social media platforms that we have. We have LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Threads, right? So for each of these platforms, they have their strengths and they have their limitations. LinkedIn, for one, is a professional platform, super professional. A lot of people don't like to post there because they think it's cringe. Some people think it's too professional for their liking and all of that. But I would advise that if you really, really want to reach professionals, forget whatever it is you've heard about LinkedIn. It is a very good place to build your personal brand. You want to get hired, you want to reach out to recruiters, you want to network with industry leaders within your industry, LinkedIn is the place to go. Okay, Facebook is a little bit more casual because most of the time you get to have your friends, your loved ones, friends from way back in secondary school. This is a personal opinion, feel like building a personal brand on Facebook is harder because the engagement is mostly going to be between people who know you. And honestly, I think that a lot of times it's good to build away from people who know you so that you can really understand who you're speaking to and really target your audience. But Facebook is really good if you want to run ads, right? If you want to run ads so that you can particularly tailor your ad to those people you really want to reach. Instagram is another very good platform for building a personal brand. I have ignored Instagram for the longest time because I never felt that I was ready enough. I always felt Instagram had a lot of aesthetic requirements, which I wasn't really keen to do. But this year I came back on Instagram and building brick by brick because I've always known that Instagram is a very good platform for building a personal brand, and it's also one of the platforms that encourage being multi-potentialite. You can build a brand around your career or your family, relationships, everything. Okay, as long as you know how to structure things properly, Instagram is a very good place to build your brand. And we talk about Twitter. Twitter is also a very good place to build your brand, to network with people, to join in industry conversations. A lot of news drop on Twitter first before it goes anywhere else because of how spontaneous it could be to tweet and to share things on the platform. So Twitter is a very good platform. TikTok, I'm still navigating TikTok, but there are also a couple of good reports around TikTok as a tool for personal branding. So at the end of the day, you just have to check out these platforms. It's totally fine if you have accounts across all of them, but at the end of the day, every single platform cannot be your primary platform. You have to think about which of the platform has greater potential to make you reach your intended audience. Okay, just do a research on the audience that you want to reach and then choose one primary platform and maybe 2 to 3 secondary platforms. You don't have to be very active in every platform. You could focus on your primary platform and maybe 1 or 2 of your secondary platforms. And as you grow and as you keep refining your personal brand and knowing what sticks and even getting large following and all of that, you could gradually start tipping into other channels. And the truth is that the moment you start trickling into other channels, the audience you've already built in the other primary and maybe your 2 secondary platforms will make things easier in the new platform that you eventually get into. For tech professionals, we have our tech Twitter on Twitter. We have other platforms as well, like GitHub. GitHub has a community. We have communities that you can join, like She Could Africa. Joining those communities could also be a very good way to build your personal brand, right? Building a personal brand is beyond just social media. You can join communities, attend events, and talk about those events on social media, of course. That is how you show that you're really part of this industry, by attending events, writing articles, or engaging or sharing the articles that others have written, or making comments on posts that relate to your industry in all of these different platforms. The last is the H, the one H that I talked about, which is how. I already mentioned it a little bit when I was talking about the where. Yeah, because the how now talks about how do you want to build your personal brand. Now that you know who you are, you know why you're building, you know what you want to offer, you know who your audience are, and you know where you want to target those audience. How do you want to show up? Do you want to write articles? Do you want to create a newsletter? Do you want to create a YouTube channel? Do you want to create content, videos, or written posts? How do you want to show up? How consistently do you want to show up as well? Do you want to show up once a week? Do you want to show up monthly? I don't advise monthly, that's a lot of gap, but it's good to have a more frequent cadence, maybe once a week or at least whatever works for you really. But at the end of the day, personal branding happens best when you're very consistent and not give a lot of space between what you put out, especially when you're starting out in building your personal brand. When you have built a solid personal brand, you can take even a month without posting. The personal brand that you've already built will continue to speak for you. But when you're still trying to build a personal brand, I would encourage you to be more consistent, post consistently, whatever format you have chosen, attend events, speak at events, talk about what's going on in your industry. That is how you build your personal brand. So there you have it, the 5W and 1H of personal branding. I have created a workbook to help you carry out an assessment of yourself to be able to understand where you are on your personal branding journey and how best to position your personal brand in order to attract the right opportunities. Please find the link to download it in the description comment box below. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what should have for you in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next time. Bye.